Hey everyone, my name is Jen Banks of Banks Canine Solutions. I'm a dog trainer in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. I offer in-home training as well as group classes, and you can check out my website for more details on that. This is my dog training question and answer weekly episode, and I am going to get right into the questions. I have 3 questions I'm answering today, and the first one is... We are planning on bringing a new puppy into the house later this year. What things should we do now with Fizz to ensure a smooth transition? This is a dog that I know pretty well, and I know he has a lot of training. So lucky for you, you actually don't have to do much. But I am going to answer this as if it was someone I don't know, maybe a dog who doesn't have any training at all, who knows how they are with dogs. Very first thing you want to do is make sure that your dog is able to focus on you around other dogs, which a lot of people struggle with. So I would certainly get into a basic obedience class and work on attention to handler stuff. And if you have the ability to get around puppies and not let them interact, but work the obedience and get the dog focused on you, that would be wonderful. Any sort of big behavior problems you're having with your current dog, you do want to stop now. Like if you have a dog who's barking out the window a lot, or who's maybe afraid of people, or dealing with stuff like that, you'd want to troubleshoot that stuff before you bring a new puppy into the house, because oftentimes, especially with barking, tends to be contagious, where one dog barks at stuff and the other dog barks at stuff in response. Maybe don't care about barking, and if that's the case, no need to do anything there. I also know Fizz has a really good stay or place command, which I would recommend for anyone before you bring a new puppy into the house. It's nice to have a dog who can handle staying while you work with the other puppy, so you don't have to deal with a lot of conflict there. I know he's crate trained too. If your dog's not crate trained, I would highly recommend crate training before bringing a new puppy into the house, because you're going to want to manage the environment a lot when you first bring the puppy home, which I'll talk about in a minute. And come when called. Like they got to know how to come when called, which again, I know Fizz does really well, but if you are someone who's planning to bring a new dog into the situation and you have your current dog who doesn't listen very well, you got to focus there. But because once you bring the puppy home, it's going to be all about the puppy, and the adult dog kind of gets pushed to the side a little bit. And let's talk about bringing a new puppy into the environment. I'll give my dogs as an example. So I have 2 dogs at home. I have Bamba, who is 4 years old, and I have Moon Pie, who's 1 year old. And it was this time last year that I brought Moon Pie into the house. And Bamba has been really aggressive with dogs in the past, especially puppies. He's gone after a few puppies. So all those things I just talked about, I made sure those were in place as much as possible. I tried to get him exposed to puppies, not meeting puppies, but learning to ignore puppies and defer to me instead. And then once I did bring Moon Pie in, she was so small and so friendly and social, I actually didn't let them meet for probably about a week or 2 weeks. And when they did meet, I was very careful because of his history. But I actually recommend that approach with everyone, even if you've got really friendly dogs, just because you're bringing in such a small new puppy and potentially have a big boisterous dog that's going to want to play with that puppy. So I use baby gates a lot. So a lot of our interactions were through baby gates in the beginning. And I didn't focus a lot on play. I actually focused a lot on getting whichever dog I was working with, getting them to focus on me more than the other dog. So think more about existence than play the first week, especially, because that's kind of where you're setting the tone for their relationship. When I did eventually allow play between the 2, it was really short, again, because for me, I was dealing with something a lot different than what you're dealing with. I was dealing with a dog who had gone after puppies before, so a lot of it was making sure that we had short positive experiences between the 2 dogs, and I ended it pretty quickly so that the dogs didn't get too revved up. And again, she was so small when I brought her home that I wanted to be careful that he didn't pounce on her and hurt her. So think existence and think getting the puppy to like you more than your other dog. That's where a lot of people go wrong, is they're like, oh, I'm getting this dog to be my dog's friend. And then you just kind of get shoved into the background and become totally irrelevant to the dog. And I know you, JR, I know you specifically know exactly what I'm talking about. This is more for other people who maybe haven't done any training with their dog before, or haven't kind of heard this spiel before. But I do a lot of work with a puppy in the beginning where they're totally focused on me, and I teach them to ignore the environment around them. A lot of people mistake socialization for interaction. They think, oh, socializing my puppy means letting them go meet everyone and everything they come across. And what that creates is a very distracted dog, and a very irrelevant person, which is a bad spot to be in when you need your dog to start listening to you. So lots of one-on-one time with the puppy. And, I know you do a lot with Fizz, but still continuing like that one-on-one time with your adult dog. For Bomba, we do nose work every week, and that's kind of like our time together, where the other dog's not in the picture at all. And I had to do a lot of separating them for training sessions because I'd want to work with the puppy and he'd want to work with me and vice versa. So using the crate, using baby gates, using leashes. I'd have the leash on the puppy a lot in the house, mostly to prevent her from going and pouncing on him. So I recommend that as well when bringing a new puppy into the house. Super exciting. I know you've been talking about getting a new puppy for a while, so definitely feel free to pick my brain more, because that was like a crash course in bringing a new puppy into the house. And there's certainly a lot more that we can talk about. I'm going to move on to the second question, which is, when I give Teddy and Ellie both something to chew on, Teddy goes over and barks at her, so she will leave the chew. What a bully. He then takes it and has all the chews. I was so worried about her willing to share things with him, I never thought the situation would happen. This is from Tracy. Thanks, Tracy, for submitting this question. What I would do with both dogs is teach them, I'm assuming chew toys aren't out all the time. Like what I do with my dogs is they each get bully sticks at the same time. And when I do that, both of them are on their beds across the room from each other. So I teach them, hey, you can have that bully stick as long as you stay on your bed and chew it. If you get off, I'm going to correct you and send you back to the bed. For Bomba, he doesn't always chew it. So if Moon Pie finishes her bully stick and Bomba's just like hanging out on his bed, not eating it, I take it and I put it away because he will guard things. And I never would allow her to approach him. So you should be the one to tell him to stop. We don't really want her to be she won't anyways, but we don't want her to be the one to tell Teddy to go away. So as you see him, he should be staying on his bed. And if he gets off his bed to go see her, you're the one to correct him, whether you're using, maybe you have a leash on him, maybe you're using a squirt bottle, whatever works for him, but work that place command. And depending on how much he's done, you might need to do a little bit of work on place before adding chews into the mix. So like my dogs right now, they're both sleeping on their beds. I didn't tell them to go there, but I did a lot of work early on where they would just go there and hang out for a while without actually having anything to chew on. So you might need to practice that a little bit more first. But yeah, definitely correct him for that, because that's naughty. And Ellie is going to get fed up with it eventually. It might take years, but eventually she's going to say, screw you, dude, stop taking my stuff. And she's going to snap at him or worse. And we don't want her to feel like she has to do that, though it is nice that she's being so submissive to him. It surprises me a little bit. So yeah, hopefully that helps you out, Tracy. And then the last question I'm going to answer today is, my dog is afraid of new people. What do I do? I actually had two separate people approach me this week. One was a puppy who's really afraid of new people, and the other was an adult dog who's afraid of new people to the point that the dog is barking and lunging, and the people are worried that it might escalate to biting if they don't do something about it. And with fear, many people don't realize this, but aggression is often rooted in fear. Rarely is a dog aggressive because they just are jerks. Usually it's, I'm really afraid, I don't know what to do, I'm going to bite someone. And it does build up over time. So especially this person with the older dog, what they're seeing is an increase in intensity when people come over, and they're looking for help with that, which is wonderful. So The best thing you can do for a fearful dog, regardless of if it's a puppy or an adult dog, is prevent the interaction to begin with, as a way of managing it. It's not going to fix the problem, but if you know you're having people over, like I dealt with this with Bamba for a long time, he would bark and growl at people that came in the house. What worked for him was managing it by putting him in the crate. So I didn't allow him to go up to people. I didn't allow people to go up to him. And then once everyone was in and settled, I could take him out and do some training. So don't let people just like go up to your dog and handle your dog and say, oh, this is the way to get them over. I'm just going to handle them and show them that everything is fine. I actually teach people to ignore fearful dogs, and then show whoever owns the dog, show them what sort of training to do, to help the dog through those situations. So a lot of it is probably that the dog doesn't really have the skills to listen in that situation because it's really hard. It's something you have to practice a lot in easier situations first. Fear is always something where I recommend bringing a trainer in because it can be really slow progress when you're working with a fearful or nervous dog. And with a puppy, especially, one of them was a puppy, that's a great time to hire a trainer because of the puppy. You can do a lot of really good work with a puppy a little bit more quickly than with an older dog who's practiced the behavior for longer. Not that you can't help the dog that's older. Just think about habits, right? The longer we practice something, the harder it is for us to stop. So with a puppy, what you're dealing with is maybe they've only been alive for 12 weeks, so they've only been practicing it for a few weeks versus an adult dog who's been practicing it for a year or longer. So my approach is the same, but the sooner you can get help, the sooner you're gonna see results. Because no one wants their dog to live in that state. Because it could be just really stressful for everyone involved. So manage it by using the crate. Don't allow people to approach. Don't force the dog to take treats from people. That I've not had a lot of luck with that stuff straight off in the beginning. I do try that stuff later on in training, but that's why I'm saying ultimately you need to hire a trainer because you need someone to show you how to really take the dog through all these different steps and prepare them for that situation where you finally have people over. A lot of people want to rush right into real life situations with their dog, even with the dog who's friendly. People with friendly dogs deal with the same sort of stress when they have visitors over, only instead of a dog who's shying away, they have a dog who's jumping on and demanding attention. And in both situations, what you're dealing with is a dog who is not prepared to do what you're asking them to do. You're asking them to not jump and to pay attention to you, etc. But you've never practiced that in situations where the distractions are a lot lower and the stakes are a lot lower. So training is practice. Training is not, oh, the situation is happening in real life and I need my dog to stop right now. Training is taking the time every day, a few minutes a day of teaching your dog whatever it is you need from them, how to stay, how to pay attention to you, how to follow you, how to chill out, how to stop barking, whatever it is. So those are my 3 questions for today. I hope you guys find this helpful. Thanks to all who submitted their questions, and I will chat with you soon.